everyone.
Now, Adam, I want you to start talking about saving our pubs because you are a publican. How bad is Rachel Reeves for your business?
She's terrible. And I can't stress enough, this government is either inept and utterly stupid, or they're doing this on purpose. There's no other options. They're one end or the other. This 15% discount on the rates it's insane and it's insulting to us. My rates are going up by 50% alone. So what is 15% going to do? It won't touch the sides. And they're not including hotels, they're not including restaurants, they're not including cafes. So yes, as a publican, I'll take the discount, but they shouldn't be putting them up in the first place. We should be getting targeted help, and I've said this enough times on TV, radio and on social media. Across Europe, the VAT rate for hospitality and tourism is half that of ours, roughly. I think Ireland is 13%. We're collecting 20%. So a pound goes straight to the government. Now in a pint, I probably make 15p.
Is that it?
15p a pint. The government takes in taxes...
How much do you sell a pint for?
Well, between sort of £5 and £6.50.
But that's what I mean, 15p of that, that's all you make?
15p.
That's crazy.
It depends because you get stronger lagers, you know, weaker lagers or weaker beer, and the price has to dictate by that. But
what is mental with this bailout is it sort of like Rachel Reeves is saving pubs from herself.
Yes.
You know, what's going on with the business rates thing? Because, you know, people have spoken to me about this. My hairdresser said their business rates has gone from 14,000 to 29,000. I'm like, what? Yeah. But when you read in the newspaper stories of publicans saying, especially old historic pubs in the countryside, for instance, we didn't pay business rates before, and now we've got a 30 grand bill. And you're like, this is not a small amount.
Look, for me, it's an insult that we have to pay business rates, yet we still have to pay for our own rubbish collection and other things. I don't know where that money's going. One thing I will say, I believe the Conservatives are saying they're going to abolish business rates, which would be welcome. I wouldn't vote for them on that, but I think Reform have got to look at this. I think Reform are looking at the business rates model. But look, since her first budget, she's had 2 budgets now, Rachel Reeves, hospitality have lost about 150,000 jobs. We've lost more jobs than any other sector or industry out there. The national insurance contributions rise.
Right, because you face that as well. Minimum wage has gone up, which is what you're probably paying. Your energy bills has gone up. You've got business rates going up. You've got the actual tax on alcohol. What about sports in pubs as well?
Right,
if people want to go watch the football, what are you paying for that?
Look, so people won't believe what I have to pay to show football. I've got a back street pub, OK? Not a big high road site, a back street pub. I pay about £1,000 a month for Sky Sports.
£1,000 pounds a month?
I pay £750 a month for TNT Sports, which used to be called BT. Yeah. So that is about £20,000 a year I have to pay just to show your Premier League or your Champions League games, FA Cup, etc. Now,
and is it worth it? As in, like,
does it attract
enough people?
For me, it's a service.
It is a service because people can't afford to pay it at home. They want to go to the pub to watch
So I get a mixture. Let's say on a Sunday, I'll have my restaurant area full of families eating or locals eating, and the man might come out and put his head round and watch the TVs for his team if they're playing. I have people sat at the bar. So I believe, roughly, I break even on that. But it's a service that I want to keep providing.
Yeah.
Now, this is based on our rateable value. That's how Sky do it. So over the years, I've paid quite a lot because my pub's in an expensive postcode, so the rates are higher. So I had to renew TNT Sports the other week. I said, you do know in a year's time, when you re-evaluate these packages, we won't be able to afford this. You're going to lose me as a customer. And the guy on the end of the phone went, we all know. You tell our bosses. So if you're listening at TNT Sports, Sky Sports, you've got to redesign the way you charge us pubs.
It gets my goat. It really, really does. That when people just want to watch sport, They have, it's not just, if it's just one sports channel, but it's about 18,000 of them. You've all got to have different subscriptions. And it just, because I'm a huge Formula One fan, and Formula One was always on the BBC. Then it got moved to ITV and the adverts, and they tried to put the little bits in the corner. Now it's on Sky, so I actually have to buy a sports package, and it comes with every single blimmin' sports channel that I don't really need, to watch Formula One, which is my only thing I like on television after Gladiators, because that's just cool. But, that's it, really. I don't watch TV otherwise. And then, you can get a bit of Premiership rugby as well on TNT, but then sometimes it's on ITV too. It's just like, you need to have a degree. You need to be the walking Radio Times.
But a lot of those sports, you said, don't really bring people into pubs.
No.
Football is what we pay for. So I'll let you know, there's 3 months of the year. Well, June, July, August, when there's no games, when the season's closed, that I'm paying £2,000 a month in my pub for nothing. Right, and that Sky will not even let you suspend it and then carry on. They've got you by the balls.
And
really.
do you know what?
Can I say that on here? They've got you by the balls.
Do you know what's going to really get your goat? A lot of that, I don't know if this is true, but I think it's true. News is a loss-making enterprise, right? So when you've got these rolling news channels, this is why BBC News basically shut down, merged with BBC World. It costs a lot of money to make news. And so a lot Sky Sports and the profit they make from that basically pays for Sky News.
Right.
So that 2 months when no one's coming into your pub, you're paying Beth Rigby.
Brilliant.
Hey!
And
Do you like that?
Beth Rigby blocked me on X many years ago,
oh,
so
she's
I
not
don't want
gonna
to pay for you, Beth.
She's not going to see this, is she?
No.
But you know what I really like about what you said about sticking on the footy, because it is a service, because most people can't afford that subscription at home, is I always say to people, you've got to remember that pub is short for public house. It is so unique to British culture because, you can go to these perpendicular bars in France, the music playing like Euro trash 90s porn music or whatever, and have your sort of, Aperol.
How do you know what porn music is?
I don't know. I don't know because I'm a God-fearing girl. I just assume because I used to watch Eurotrash growing up.
Yeah, same.
Bring it back. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
But it's very different. The pub is such a different thing. Like my local, I've only been living where I live for about 5 months now, and already I can just walk in there by myself. It's full of tradesmen. So it's like, oh yeah, someone around who can help me, do stuff from my electrics in my kitchen. Can someone help me drill some holes in my shelves? I want to feed some lights down there. And everyone knows everyone. There's Skittles, there's quiz night, there's a group of guys who play bridge. Everyone brings them a crossword and sits and does it together. It's like everyone knows everyone. And it's a real community spirit. And that is so important because it's where people go to sit, discuss, to sort of let off some steam.
And one thing I'm going to say is that the Conservatives were not kind to pubs at all. But Labour are going to be sitting on the destruction of this industry and this sector. Yeah. They're going to be to blame for the loss of the great British pub. And as I said earlier, they're either completely stupid or they're doing it on purpose. There's no in between. You can't be this stupid. You can't keep adding taxes and bills to a pub, knowing that it's a struggling sector, and then think that they're going to survive. They see us as a tax collecting service.
Yeah.
But
they see everything as a tax collecting service. But
if you think from a £5 pint, £2 is tax, okay? If we go, they're going to lose so much money in revenue. Yeah. So look, I'm pleading to Rachel Reeves, and I don't like begging, but it's an industry that I love. My dad was a publican from the 60s. My late father, my hero, he's a publican. So I'm a publican because of my dad was a publican. That's the only reason. I do not want to see these pubs closing every day because if you fast forward 5 years' time, we might not have many left. And they've got to stop allowing them to be turned into restaurants or turned into mosques or something else.
Converted into housing or whatever.
They've got to stop this. We've got to start protecting the pubs.
Yeah.
It's our heritage. It's our culture.
My local tonight, I'm sorry I'm actually doing the late shift this week because my local tonight's having a big old thing with the press going down and everything because they've won Camera Pub of the Year. Okay. Like in my region, not overall, but they've won Camera Pub of the Year and they're like having like people getting dressed up. There's probably some sausage rolls on a trestle table. The local toggies down there. I love this. It's proper stuff. But one of the things I find the most egregious is this government government don't just go whack, 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 pay tax. They're coming up with so much, frankly, dirty, dystopian, non-fiscal related legislation. And probably the filthiest of the lot is this banter ban. Let's have a little look at old free speech guru, Toby Young, defender of the banter, talking about this in the House of Lords.
Lords, I declare my interest as the Director of the Free Speech Union, and I congratulate the 4 new members on their excellent speeches. I want to draw your Lordship's House attention to just one section of the Employment Rights Act and its impact on the hospitality sector, namely Section 21, which extends the liability of employers for the harassment of their employees to third parties. From October of this year, employers will have a duty to protect their workers from third parties. I should make clear that we're not talking about third-party sexual harassment, which they were already liable for, but third-party non-sexual harassment.
This is beyond mental. Like, how can somebody control, before they've even said it, what someone is going to say in a public space? Like, if someone comes into a pub and starts effing and blinding, or just having a conversation with their mate, saying something, you know, say I'm standing behind a bar, of a barge pole, they actually make me feel sick to the stomach. I wish blonde girls were, like, you know, just thrown out on the streets. They shouldn't be working. They should clean behind their fridge, you know. And I could then sue the person owning the building who's paying my wage for what those two people were saying. This is mad. There's not even any way of controlling that.
Like, we need another thing to worry about as publicans. It's a joke what they're doing here. And it's worrying because an independent publican like myself, someone that doesn't own a chain of pubs or is a multi-millionaire, could be hauled in front of a tribunal, very expensive tribunal as well, could finish you because one of your staff takes offence at maybe the 2 people at the bar. So what I will say is to other publicans or restaurateurs or people out there that run businesses would be affected by this, is be careful who you're employing.
Yeah. Well, so this is it.
I would more unlikely want a bar girl or a barmaid or a barman that I know of, or someone that works there already knows of. So they're not coming here just to be offended and then take me to a
This
tribunal.
is it. The sort of person who's going to lobby some sort of claim about that is vindictive and venal. They've been waiting for it. They're the people who are just synthetic offence specialists. They're sitting there waiting for the moment that they can put in some sort of thing to get someone like you by the short and curlies and be like, you know, I can make a bit of money out of this. And you'll be like, instead of having to pay for a lawyer and go to court, I'll just throw some cash at the situation to shut them up. And you end up with people, the only people who do that aren't actually offended by stuff, they're gaming it. They're snatching up money. They're frankly ripping the proverbial. And I hate that because, do you know what? I was a barwoman for ages. I've poured plenty of pints. I actually worked in a cocktail bar for wine bars, cocktail bars, pubs, you name it, done a lot of it. And when you stand at a bar, you've got to be able to say to whatever, oh, shut up, you know. You know, have a good chat with people as well.
But also from a generation,
to zip it.
We're from a generation where, like, I can't tell you some of the things that happened to me when I was 16 and I started up the city. You know, some of the awful things that were said to me, the positions I was put in, how I was treated, ended up moulding me into the person that I am. Because suddenly you go from school to an environment where people are quite nasty, or, you know, they're bullying, or they want to banter with you. And it either makes you or you breaks you. And that's why I think, you know, people of our age, maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, grew up.
Are you putting us in the category going up to 60s, Adam?
No. We grew up in a generation where we took that and it made us stronger, or it made us the people that we are. We know how to deal with that. Now these youngsters are so weak and so they're perpetual victims.
Yeah, and it's the death of humour as well, and humour's cathartic. Right, we're going to take another break and talk about that forever. Also, I don't know about, like, just quickly, because Dean's going to, like, lose his rag here, but when I worked in a pub, there's a certain category of person, I've worked in lots of them, but there's one pub, certain category of person who comes in, sits at the same place, same time of day, has that same glass, and they always have bags for life.
Right.
I don't know why. Have you observed this? Maybe it's just a Gloucester thing.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. But there are people that like their certain positions, the same time of the day, because the bar girl
or
the barman, the bar lady, or whatever you want to call them, they are their
wench.
They're their social life. They're the person that they can speak to, let maybe their worries out. So during COVID, that's what a lot of people missed.
Caring the community. Right, we're basically caring the community, and Dean's going to be if we don't go for break soon, because I can see his eyes rolling back at his head and he's beginning to like twitch and stuff. So while we mop him up, you go and pour yourself a three-fingered, and we'll be back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Oh, hello there. Sorry. Literally messaging my accountant. It's that time of year and it's like, oh my gosh, got to get the tax return in. Rachel Reeves is getting hungry. And my accountant's like, what's this? What's that? What's this? Because when you're freelance, it's like all over the place. And she just went, what are these payments from Citibank? And I'm like, oh, they're just like the little ones they get every now and then from X.
Oh.
Do you ever get, on Twitter,
Yeah,
as I still like to call it? Yeah,
monetized.
monetised. It's only like, a little bit here and there, but my accountant spots everything. It's like, what's this £22.73 in it? And I'm like, oh, that's Elon. Thanks, Elons.
Yeah, thanks, Elon.
Yeah,
appreciate
cheers, son.
that.
Yeah, I like that. Good evening, Alex. Great show. Tell Adam to keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Adam, you are a legend. You speak for so many of us. Keep up the fight to save our country, says Simon in Norwich.
Cheers.
Message for Adam. Love seeing you, says Diane.
Nice.
Huge fan base out there for you.
That's lovely.
Do you know, I go home early tonight. I'll make the last train back to Gloucestershire if I go by 9 o'clock. Do you want to sit here?
Come on. Let's do it.
Want to try your luck?
I've always fancied myself as a presenter.
I think you'd be good at it.
Yeah.
And this is, it's not like auto cue world here. You just sort of like gas
Rent
on.
off.
Yeah, rent off. That's exactly what you do. It's brilliant. I'll tell you, it's a minefield though, because you're not reading things that have been scripted for you, and it's just free-flowing conversation. Every now and then you say a word that's on the Ofcom list. And I think earlier Dean had to press the magic button.
Did you say it or did I say it?
It was me. I got
right.
magic buttoned. It wasn't you.
It wasn't my degenerate.
And it was... No, I'm not going to say it again.
Right, okay.
But you just don't know what's on that list.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the banter ban of Ofcom, basically. Banter bans are everywhere. This is sad. There's this campaign that's been set up called Operation Lower the Colours. It was always going to happen. I mean, people started going out from local councils, Jobsworths and, anti-British racists. But now there's a group that's been set up to actually pull down the Union flags that have been put up over the summer. They work on social media and they've created a live map pinpointing the exact locations. The left, when they go about doing this stuff, they're always quite sophisticated. They've always got sort of like...
Unhinged, I'd like to.
Yeah, it's quite creepy, because on the right wing, it's just like, oh, you go on Amazon, buy that 99p, tie it around there, yeah. The left wing was like, yes, we're going to have an interactive map, we're going to have little roles, and we're going to work together, and it's
what are they going to replace them with? EU flags?
Probably.
Losers.
Oh, gosh. Oh, don't. I'm getting
losers.
Flashbacks to the Brexit years when you had, like, the blimmin' adult weird rag week.
They probably want to put the trans
Green.
flags up every other one as well.
We're forced having those anyway, aren't they? Trans flags, EU flags, rainbow flags. In fact, for people who seem to like blimmin' flags so much, it's funny that they want to pull them down.
Yeah.
But anyway, one apparent ringleader of Operation Lower the Colours. They're always anonymous as well, aren't they, these people? They won't ever stick their head above the parapet. Asked fellow users to submit details of any remaining flags. One joked it had been windy around Portwood last night. Another blamed a freak of nature's storm. The sneering group openly congratulated each other for tearing the flags down and complained they were sad to see so many flags still flying. I mean, what has happened to people when you get to the stage, you are ripping down your own national flag in public areas?
Yeah.
Like, what has happened to stem people to that zone?
That's a mental illness.
It's a mental illness.
These people that are going around pulling these flags down are showing signs of mental illness. Look, raise the colours of boys that of fellas that I've met. They're putting the flags up to signal that we are being forgotten. We are being invaded, as I said, by people from the third world, and our government are making us pay for the privilege.
Yeah.
When you see our national flag along a road, it makes me proud, but it also reminds me that there are plenty of people in the community that want to see an end to us being put second. This government's own lawyers said that asylum seeker rights trump those rights of us, the local people. We are living under a government that puts foreign men before us. So look, these flags will carry on being put up. I'm going to tell you now, I know a few groups that put these flags up. These lefties can go and do what they want. As soon as they come down,
There'll be more up.
we put 2 up.
But what they don't understand is if they want a world in which everybody has to have their own special little identity that we've all got to love and celebrate. I'm trans, I'm gay, I'm black, I'm white, I'm Muslim, I love Jedis, you know, whatever. Everyone's got to have their own little, I'm a special category, oh, I love my own. The only glue, the only thing that holds us all together on this patch of land is the concept of being in the same country. It is the only social adhesive. So when you are pulling that down, which doesn't stand for anything, the Union flag doesn't represent a religion, it doesn't represent a skin colour, it doesn't represent a sexuality, it doesn't even represent a language these days. It just represents the terra firma that you are stood on and says we are all part of this. And that is what unites us only.
If you go to Spain or America, their national flags are everywhere, on every building, everywhere you look. We're the only country in the world that has people within it that are ashamed of the flag. We cannot go back and change what we did 300 years ago, slavery or whatever, but we ended that, by the way.
We did end that, yeah.
We cannot be to blame for things that happened 200-300 years ago. Embrace that we are Great Britain. Embrace our St George's flag. And if it offends you, you shouldn't be living in this country. And no one's hijacking it. Let me just tell you now, the far right hate me. There's only a few thousand of them in this country, but they hate what I say because they don't think I should be saying it without racism or hatred. I don't say anything with hatred. The far left hate me, the far right hate me. But I'm proud to stand under a St George's flag and say I'm British.
But also, when people talk about this mythical far right, the threat of the fascists, oh, it's so dangerous, I'm so worried, I feel triggered, I need a safe space, the whiteness, if there had been a single far right incident, even if it's just a pork chop thrown at a mosque or something, it'd be front page news. We wouldn't hear the end of it. You know how deep they'd go on that. They wouldn't be able to leave it alone. The legacy media would be a dog with a bone. Starmer would be having a field day. David Lammy, you wouldn't be able to shut him up. They are desperate for that to happen. The reason I know that there isn't actually any particular far-right threat in this country is because nothing has ever happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it just hasn't. The maximum that's happened is someone making an inappropriate comment here or there. The rest of it, you know, you just know if there had been a racist attack or murder, it would be all we spoke about.
Yeah, there's an insignificant amount of far-right people in this country, maybe a few thousand, as I say. And if they pop up on social media, they never show their face because they're afraid of the consequences. Yet, apparently the far right are to blame for everything. The Prime Minister never talks about the 50,000 on the terrorist watch list. 40,000 are Islamist extremists. Half of them were born abroad. Why do they not talk about that? Because they're scared to offend the Muslim community.
Well, frankly, the things I'm seeing all the time, more than anything, is the blimmin' extreme left. We need to talk about that more. We're going to take a